How do I know this voice is not just my ego trying to get me to do something? How do I know it really is my intuition? I feel like I'm being guided, but man, I get so worried that I'm going to be ego led, that I'm going to be selfish and arrogant. How do I know it really is the voice of my intuition? My name is Felicia Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. And in this live, I want to help you distinguish the difference between your ego and your intuition. I have so many clients who get so afraid that when they really start going for their dream, that the voice of their ego is going to take over. It's like some horrible thing's going to inhabit their body, and they're going to lose themselves, or they're going to end up just being this selfish thing that they don't even recognize. And I want to help you, first of all, reassure you that that's probably not going to happen, that, to really trust your values and who you are, and that you are able to maintain your moral compass as you're moving forward, and how to really tell the difference between whether or not something is your ego or your intuition. I'm going to move that a little bit there. See if it. There. And then stick around to the end, because I have a great gift for you that I want to share with you. All right, so the conversation that I often hear is, it sure feels like it's my intuition. Hey, Michelle, talking about telling the difference between your intuition and your ego. That it feels like it's my intuition, but man, how do I know it's just not me wanting to fluff myself up, or there's this arrogant side of me, or that I'm just being selfish, or that it's not my ego going on, April? Well, I want to give you 5 keys to pay attention to number 1, be able to tell the difference between whether or not it's your ego or your intuition. And then while you're going through those differences, to really deepen your ability to listen more to your intuition, to be able to distinguish that this is the voice of your intuition, and then to be able to listen to it. All right, so first of all, I want you to understand that it's really important, if you want to tell the difference between your ego and your intuition, to number 1, understand that you've got an intuition. And when you think about what is your intuition, it's when you tap into the voice and the power and the presence of something so much bigger than who you are. That it's not just your personality. It's not just you in the 3-dimensional realm, but that it really is that you're tapping into the stream of intelligence, that there really is a creative life force that only desires good for you at work in your life. Not just conceptually. This isn't just a conceptual thing to understand, but it's to really bring it down and bring it in. That there is something so profound at work in and through you. And that this power, this creative life force, is constantly communicating with us. It's constantly sharing and guiding and inspiring you with ideas and information and inspiration, that you live and move and have being in this soup of inspiration, where this energetic creative life force is constantly communicating to you. And so one of the key things of really developing your ability to tell the difference, is it my ego or is my intuition, is to develop what you're really doing is signing up for a deeper, richer sense of communion and companionship with the very power, with this very energy that animated you, the very power of all that life is. And so how do I know it's my ego or my intuition? First and foremost, you understand that you have an intuition, and that there is a power, an indescribable power at work in and through you that wove you into existence from the very substance of itself. And that this power longs to communicate with you and to you in the most intimate, ongoing way. So realize that is the case, that you are connected to a life force energy that is constantly guiding you. It's not just something that it's real, that this is real. All right, then number 2, it's so much more powerful to be able to pay attention to your intuition, to be able to tell the difference between intuition versus ego. When you have it directed towards something, when there's something very specific that it's directed toward. And if you're around my work at all, you come to understand that that's your vision, that you want to direct it toward your vision. Now, a key piece of the work of your intuition is to start listening deeply to what's seeking to come alive for you and from you in the form of your vision. This is where the work of really telling the difference between your ego and your intuition becomes profoundly important. What I have discovered for myself and with the hundreds of clients that I've had the honor of working with around the world is that people will often get an idea of what they think they're supposed to do, what they think they can do, what they think is the logical thing to do. And they start trying to listen to their intuition based on those elements. In fact, I had a client who was very linear. She was very linear. She had a plan. This was the thing that she was supposed to do. And she kept trying to make it work. And the thing about her intuition was that her intuition was trying to steer her in a different direction. Now, the thing about really letting yourself listen deeply to what's seeking to come most alive in as you work with, and again, if you listen to my lives at all, you understand that I will always bring you back to the most powerful, profound of all questions that you can ask, which is, what would I love to inform what your dream is, to inform your vision, not just a worthy goal, but truly something powerful that's seeking expression through you and by means of you. She began to work with this question. It was a really scary question for her. You know, when you're really working with it the way that it's meant to be worked with, it can activate that anxiety. It can activate some scariness. In fact, I just got off the phone with somebody who was like, I really want to do this, but it scares me to even think about it. And oh my God, my family, they're really struggling with this as well. Your intuition doesn't always lead you down a warm and fuzzy road. So it's sometimes a risky thing to listen to your intuition. It's sometimes, in fact, a lot of the times, you know you're going to be required to do something that just doesn't make logical sense. And especially when you're talking about having your intuition guide you with your dream, to be able to really start listening, to become willing to listen to where your intuition is really wanting to take you. And so as we worked with this, and she really started listening deeply and realized, you know, I want to, and I'm not going to say the particulars because I don't want you to get all caught up in your heads like, okay, well, that doesn't match me. But that she was heading down one road and she started learning how to listen to her own voice of inspired insight, started staring down the fears of where that voice was taking her, began to own what was really coming alive for her, which was a whole well-being, I don't want to say division, but a well-being direction in her life. And as she started really listening to that and started trusting the voice behind the intuition, and there's a key piece of it, trusting the voice behind your intuition, trusting the power behind your intuition to understand that it's not just you, the personality, but that there really is a power behind it. And she really started owning it. She was able to hear the ideas, follow the guidance accordingly, start loosening her grip on things that were like the thing that she had to have in order to be okay. You know, there's the piece, right, of being willing to hear where is it that your intuition is taking you? Be willing to trust, where is it that this voice of inspired insight is asking you to go, which means being willing to let go of those things that are no longer serving you. And I've watched as one by one, she's eliminated the things that are no longer a fit for who she is. It's no longer a fit for who she, how she wants to be in the world and the experiences she wants to create. And as a result, and here's what happens, right? So it's not just a matter of following your intuition in terms of, the idea, but it's, and the actions to take, but it's being willing that as you're taking those actions to allow the things that are no longer a fit to fall away and to let go of the need to hold on, but to really start letting things fall away. Understanding that the power that is doing your rearranging is the same power that's speaking to you in the voice of your intuition. So this amazing woman, as she was doing this and really letting things fall away, as she was following the guidance behind the answer to the question, what would I love? Letting it inform her dream. It's been breathtaking what's happened. And what's happened is that there have been some amazing things that have literally fallen into her lap out of the blue. She's now built out this amazing rhythm of a life where she's got things that only she loves, for the most part, not completely, but things that only she loves. And when she looks at her revenue, she's working 30, 35 hours a week, and she has more than doubled her revenue compared to where she was before. Now, the revenue is just simply a reflection of the work that you're doing, right? It's not just the outer work in terms of the actions that you're taking toward building your business, but it also reflects the internal work that you're doing. That you are now becoming aligned with the thing that's becoming most alive in you and for you. And as you do that, the things fall away that are no longer a fit. So the things that are a fit can come in. And boy, howdy, it's not comfortable at times. It can really be scary and painful and difficult. But as you deepen your relationship with the power behind your intuition, you come to trust the process that's happening. And you're able to manage that ego part of you that wants to hold on, that wants to insist that things need to be a certain way, that wants to get scared. And you really come to trust and understand the power of your intuition speaking to you, moving through you, guiding you, and not just guiding you, but arranging your life accordingly. And the more you come into a deep relationship with that power that created you, that power that animated you, the more you're able to trust what's going on around you and not feel like you gotta grasp on and try to control it and try to put the brakes on it. So how do you know it's your intuition versus your ego? Number one, understand that you have an intuition. Number two, and that intuition is always speaking to you. Number two, you want to direct it towards something. You want your intuition to be informed by something, which is your dream, which is your vision. And in the process of that, you're willing to not only follow the guidance of your intuition, but let the power behind your intuition do the rearranging in your life that's required. And that sounds like it's a whole nother live that I need to do. What is it to really allow yourself to be present for the rearranging that needs to happen in order for you to truly be able to let this power have at it. Let this power have access to you and your life and what's going on, where the ego, the personality, doesn't want to hold on, doesn't want to grasp on for its life. You have to be willing to let go. And that's a key part of being able to tell the difference between intuition and personality. And here's the other thing. Your intuition, understand that your intuition is going to ask you to do illogical things. Your intuition is not logical. It is not linear. It is not go do point A to B to C and then it's all going to work out. There may be point A to B to C in order for you just to feel like you're getting up and doing something. But your intuition at some point is going to throw something mighty in the middle of all of it, just like like a big bomb right in the middle of it that has the potential to blow it all up. But when you understand the nature of your intuition is non-linear, it's not logical. It's not A, B, C, D. It may be A to Z, back to B, and up to F, and down to W. It can feel like it's all over the place. And a key piece of the work of trusting your intuition and knowing whether it's intuition or personality is being able to tolerate the ambiguity that comes with following your intuition. It's being able to tolerate the discomfort of things not lining up. I love what Steve Jobs once said, where he said, the only way that you can see the path is to look. You look somewhere. I'm like totally butchering this, but basically saying that you got to look back to be able to connect the dots. That you never in a million years would have said, "All right, do it this way. Do this, then this, then this." And then as all of those things are happening, then I'll know it's my intuition. Personality wants the plan. And I'm not saying not to have a plan, because you got to have something to direct your attention toward to get up and do every day. But you want to hold the plan loosely, because your intuition's non-linear. Your intuition's going to just like dive bomb something in the middle of it that feels completely irrational, feels completely out of sorts. And a key part of recognizing the difference between ego and intuition is that your ego has to have order. Your ego's got to know. Your intuition is comfortable with not knowing. Your intuition is comfortable with ambiguity. Your intuition is comfortable with the awkwardness of not knowing what the next step is after you follow this one. And again, it goes back to what I was talking about, number 2. It requires that you develop a deep sense of connection, a communion and a companionship with the power that created your intuition, with the power that gave you the gift of your intuition. So, number 1, understand that you've got an intuition, that you are connected to an energy that's so much bigger than you. And that number 2, you want to direct it in toward your dream. And then with all of that, as you're allowing it to direct toward your dream, that you are learning how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, that ambiguity, that it's your ego if your ego demands the plan. If your ego is demanding the plan, that's not your intuition. You know it's your intuition when it makes no rational sense. Something comes and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? But you know deep down it's yours to do. All right, number 3, how do I tell the difference between my intuition or my ego? And then in it is then the act of how to develop your relationship with your intuition. Start paying attention to your body. Start noticing what happens in your body when an idea lands. When it is your personality, when it is your ego, there's an anxiousness around it. And not that, oh my gosh, I'm being asked to do something beyond anything that I've ever known for myself before, but there's a push. I got to make this happen. You can literally feel the contraction in your body. It's like all of a sudden, everything is falling on you. It can be a very alone feeling, but you actually feel it. You feel the contraction in your body. Your intuition's expansive. Your intuition is creative. Even though it may be a scary thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's asking me to do that. Underneath it, if you're really paying close attention, why it is so imperative to build a relationship with your body. Underneath it, there's an aliveness to it. There's there's a deep recognition of well-being that there's just this, give me some thumbs up if you've experienced it, that you know what the voice of your intuition is, that you can just feel it in your body, that there's an aliveness that happens, that you come alive in the presence of an idea that's being generated by your intuition. So a key piece of this is really learning how to tune into your body. And when you're working with a concept, when you're working with a vision, when you're working with a dream, you're working with a goal, and ideas are coming to you, or you're trying to evaluate whether or not to take an action step or not, you want to learn how to really tune into your body and notice where it lands. Mine lands right here. When it's right here, I know it's my intuition, because my whole system just relaxes in the presence of it. I breathe more deeply. My heart center just opens, wide open. And even though my logical brain is saying, "Oh my gosh, stop this mission now. You need to stop paying attention to it." So I let my brain just kind of have at it. And the rest of my system just relaxes in the presence of it. When I feel that, I know that's my intuition. I know that's that voice that I was talking about before, that energy, that creative life force moving through me, that wove me into existence, that woke me up, that's breathing me. The thing about it is, we can't even take one breath on our own. We didn't put ourselves here. We did not decide to be here. That there is a power so profound that knew you needed to be here and wove you into existence from the very substance of itself. That energy is always talking to you. And the way that you know it's that voice is if you really tune in to the energy in your body. Your life force will never lie to you. So as you pay attention, I come alive in the presence of that idea. I feel expansive in the presence of that idea. Or, you know what? That kind of feels like I gotta do that. I have to do that. It's like it's driven by fear. Because the thing about it is, if you're driven by your ego, you're driven by fear. If you're driven by your intuition, you're driven by a deep sense of well-being and trust. All right, so I like the thumbs up. Yes, thank you for that. All right, so pay attention to your body. Number 4, realize that your intuition speaks to you in a number of different ways. Ideas just drop in for me, and they're auditory. I literally hear the idea. Most of the time it's in my voice, but I will be very transparent. There are times when it's not in my voice. There's times when it's in a different voice. But for me, that's the primary way that my intuition speaks to me. Literally, it speaks to me. And when I hear the voice, when I hear an idea, I feel it. It's like it just lands in my body in a very deep, profound, exhale kind of way. I've learned to recognize that that's the voice of my intuition. Many of my clients, the one that I was sharing with you before, she gets images. There are literally scenarios that play in her head. And when she's seeing that scenario play in her head and she's tuning into the energy of her body, she recognizes, Gina, okay, that's the voice of my intuition. It can be that you see things. It can be that you just know things. You actually hear voices. Your intuition will show up as there are as many different viewers and listeners to this live right now. Your role, your work, so to speak, is to pay attention to how your intuition speaks to you. How does it show up for you? And you want to start tracking. You want to track the different ways that your intuition shows up, and what does it show up primarily as compared to your ego, your personality. I know that when that voice gets loud, that's not my intuition. That's my personality. That's my ego. My intuition is quiet, it's soft, it's gentle, It never pushes. It never pushes. It informs, it invites, it loves, it guides, but it never pushes. If I'm pushing, that's me. That's not the life force behind me. And then number 5, and I've spoke to it during this entire live, you want to really deepen your relationship, your sense of communion and companionship with the very energy, the very power that wove you into existence. And understand that there is something so much bigger, so much more profound at work in and through you. And that energy is constantly guiding you to a more expanded, more abundant, more fulfilling life. That power wants only good for you. And we started with that, and we're ending with that, because that's the foundation to everything. All right, so how do you tell the difference between your personality and your ego? Let's review. Number 1, understand that you've got an intuition. There is an energy, a life force constantly communicating to you. Number 2, you want to direct it towards something specific in the form of your vision to really learn to recognize what it feels like and understand that it speaks a non-linear language, that your intuition is not logical. It speaks a non-linear language. Number 3, you want to pay attention to how the energy feels in your body. If it's expansive and there's a deep sense of well-being, that's your intuition. If there's I got to do this, and an urgency and a shutting down and making it happen, that's your personality. Number 4, pay attention to all the different ways that your intuition speaks to you, or the primary way. That's really the better way of saying it. What's the primary way that your intuition speaks to you? And then number 5, really dedicate yourself to developing a deeper sense of communion and companionship with the very power that animated you, that undergirds everything. All right, so this is the kind of thing that I go deeper into in my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group where on November 11th, 11/11 at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I am offering a free mastermind on Zoom. We don't do it on Facebook. We do it on Zoom, where we dig deep into your vision, the formula, the system behind creating your vision. I help you learn how to listen more deeply to the voice of your intuition, to then put it in service to bringing your dream forward, and how to really let yourself have your dream, how to learn how to let yourself have your dream. Go to facebook.com, of course, www.facebook.com/groups/Ultimate Life Now. That's the name of the Facebook group. Join the group. Again, monthly I'm doing live masterminds where we get on Zoom. The only thing I ask is that you make a charitable contribution, make a contribution to the charity of your choice. I do videos, I do lives, I answer questions. It's my way of pouring into you, of helping you move forward in creating the life, the business, the full spectrum beingness that you are here and meant to live. So I put the name of the Facebook group up in the description. November 11th at 10 o'clock Pacific time. Join me for my free mastermind, where together I will wrap my arms around you and we will keep you moving in the direction of that which brings you most alive. Because that's how you are created to live. All right, so let's wrap this up. My name is Felicia Searcy, your Dream Life Activator. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. Your dream is my passion. I'll see you on November 11th at 10 o'clock Pacific time for the free mastermind. Join the group and then register for the mastermind. Mwah! God bless.